Call this special meeting to order. The sole purpose of this meeting is to do the second reading of the water rate increase ordinance and to have a vote. An ordinance setting forth the rate, fees, and charges for service to customers of the water system of the City of Piedmont. The Council of the City of Piedmont hereby ordains the following rules, rates, and charges are hereby fixed, determined, and established for municipal water service provided to all users of the City of Piedmont's municipal waterworks system, commencing upon the effective date as hereinafter provided and in accordance with the following rates and schedules. Rules and regulations. Rules and regulations for the government of water utilities adopted by the Public Service Commission of West Virginia and now in effect, and all amendments thereto and modifications thereof hereafter made by said commission. Section 1, Tariff. Applicability. Applicable within the entire territory served by the Piedmont water system. Availability. Available for residential, commercial, and industrial sales. Rates, customers with metered water supply. First 2,000 gallons used per month, $21 per 1,000 gallons. All over 2,000 gallons used per month, $10 per 1,000 gallons. Minimum charge. No bill will be rendered for less than the following amounts according to the size of meter installed, and said minimum charge to also apply to multiple occupancy to it. 5/8 inch meter, $42 per month. 3/4 inch meter, $63 per month. 1 inch meter, $105 per month. $105 per month. 1.5 inch meter, $210 per month. 2 inch meter, $336 per month. 3 inch meter, $630 per month. 4 inch meter, $1,050 per month. 6 inch meter, $2,100 per month. 8 inch meter, $3,360 per month. Security deposit. Not to exceed 2/12 of the average annual usage of the applicant's specific customer class, or $50, whichever is greater. This fee may be charged by applicable statutory provisions. Delayed payment penalty. On all current usage billings not paid within 20 days, 10% will be added to the net current amount unpaid. This delayed payment penalty is not interest and is to be collected only once for each bill where it is appropriate. Connection charge. There will be a $350 connection for the water system. Reconnection. Service will not be restored until all amounts in arrears, including penalties and a reconnection fee, charge of $35, $50 if outside of regular working hours, are paid in full. Multiple occupancy. In apartment buildings and other multiple occupancy buildings, each family or business unit shall be required to have a separate meter to ensure that each family or business unit is paying the proper amount for the services used. Until separate meters are installed, each family or business unit shall be required to pay not less than the minimum charge calculated from a 5/8 inch meter size per unit, or the entire building will be billed according to the size of the meter installed, whichever is greater. Hotels, motels shall pay according to the actual usage or according to the size of meter installed, whichever is greater. Adjustment policy regarding water, sewer, utilities. The adjustment policy adopted by the City of Piedmont at a regularly stated meeting of the Mayor and Council held on December 11th, 2019. That says 14 on it. Excess consumption caused by faucet or toilet leaks, faulty appliances, leaking water hoses, or similar situations will not be considered for adjustments. Generally, the leak must have occurred on the water or sewer service line or internal concealed structural plumbing. The request for adjustment must be accompanied by detailed photos of the leak, copies of plumber invoices for repairs, or copies of receipts for materials purchased to repair the leak. If at all possible, the Public Works employee should witness the leak prior to repair to verify the severity of the situation. All such documentation shall remain the property of the utility. Adjustments will be calculated by determining the average consumption using the last 12 months of water readings, or number of months service have been provided if not a utility customer for 12 months. Charges will be at a rate of 75 cents per 1,000 gallons over the average consumption of water and $1 per 1,000 gallon consumption of sewage, which is the Public Service Commission current estimate of typical incremental costs per 1,000 gallons. The city will no longer provide a credit for sewage when filling a pool at a residence. Adjustments will be limited to one time during a 12-month period for each account. City of Piedmont must be notified by the customer as soon as possible after the discovery of the leak. Written requests for adjustment must be received within 45 days of discovery and repair of a leak accompanied by all documentation. A request form will be available at the city office. Failure to submit the request within the allotted time periods will forfeit the customer's right to a leak adjustment. Section 2, effective date. The rates, charges, and penalties provided herein shall become effective 45 days after enactment or as soon thereafter as the same may be approved by the Public Service Commission of West Virginia. Section 3, severability repeal of conflicting ordinances. The provisions of this ordinance are severable, and if any clause, provision, or section hereto shall be held void or unenforceable by the Public Service Commission of West Virginia or any court of competent jurisdiction, such holding shall not affect the remainder of this ordinance. Upon the effective date hereof, all ordinances, resolutions, orders, or parts thereof in conflict with the provisions of this ordinance are, to the extent of such conflicts, hereby repealed, and to the extent that the provisions of this ordinance do not touch upon the provisions of prior ordinances, resolutions, orders, or parts thereof, the same shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4. Statutory notice and public hearing. Upon introduction hereof, the city shall cause to be published notice of this ordinance in the Mineral Daily News Tribune, a qualified newspaper of general circulation in the city of Piedmont, and said notice shall state that this ordinance has been introduced, and that any person interested may appear before the city council on Wednesday, January 8th, 2020 at 6 p.m., which date is not less than 5 days after the date of the publication of the ordinance and notice, and present any comment or protest thereto, following which hearing, council shall take such action as it shall seem deemed proper. Copies of this ordinance shall be available to the public for inspection at the office of the City Recorder, City of Piedmont, Piedmont, West Virginia. First reading, December 11th, 2019. Public hearing, January 8th, 2020. Second reading, January 14th, 2020. City of Piedmont, municipal corporation. Does everybody understand the ordinance as it was read? Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept the ordinance as read for the rate increase.
Oh, second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed? The ordinance passed. Meeting's adjourned.